We are doing a challenge where we must reach max level with 5 characters, but we can only wear gear that we crafted ourselves. Welcome to Craft Contract. We are doing this all on Classic Plus. We are doing this all again on Classic Plus. Please don't write the name of the server in the comments. There's another catch though. I can't even learn or upgrade a trade until I beat an external video game challenge. Mining, Deep Rock Galactic. Engineering, we are fighting mechs in VR. Fishing, Insane Aquarium. Like the video, subscribe if you want to, and comment below. I need a like not to help me fight the algorithm. Let's get started.
Backstory time. Corpsman, the Holy Smith.
In life, he was but a simple warrior. There was no motivation to be anything but the ordinary. In death, however, he had every motivation. Doing nothing, he would end up as just another body in a mass grave. So he did what all of us do in a time of desperation, and he called upon the cosmic forces one by one. He called upon the arcane, but it did not grant him wisdom. He called upon the elements, but they did not heed his call. He even called upon the fell, but it did not burn away the cysts. In his desperation, he called upon the void, but not even the Lich King wanted him. And then, the light answered. Our first Craft Contract character out of the 5 is Corpsman, an undead paladin. I really like this name because it's a US Army rank, but in its spelling it looks like Corpsman. Corpsman's first goal is to reach level 5 so he can learn professions. He will be the miner and blacksmith of the Craft Contract group, so he can craft us the most important items first. Weapons. If you are doing this challenge with me, it's much easier to start with a caster character as your first. But we can't unlearn professions, and some blacksmithing recipes are soulbound. Because the devs fucked up and made like 5 items in every profession soulbound, so we pretty much had to start with a paladin or a warrior blacksmith. If you do decide to take on the Craft Contract challenge, remember you can do so on any official or private server of your choice. You can see the challenge rules on the screen right now. By the way, I really like the AI generated Alliance Horde logo.
Another of the Walking Dead HM must have been quite
HM.
Waking.
Our first quest has us slay a dozen zombies. After recently attempting this challenge on a warrior, paladins are much easier. With our level 1 seal, each punch does holy damage. Funnily enough, we don't deal much less damage naked than we would with a two-handed sword. Undead on this server also have a special cosmetic ability, body modification. We can turn into any undead for 2 minutes every half an hour. After about 10 minutes, we finally finish the quest and feel really bad because we can't equip the quest reward, of course.
It is unfortunate that the Scourge cannot be brought into the fold.
We get our next batch of quests. Learning Devotion Aura gives us 55 armor, which is insane when you are naked. It alone gives us 5 to 10% damage reduction. Now we have to holy punch bats, wolves, and skeletons, which are somehow stronger than zombies even though they are literally skin and bones. There are so many players in this undead starter, we are already competing for tags. After another 10 minutes, we finish up the quests and hit level 4. This is where the fun begins. Next, we need to head to a dangerous spider cave, where we have to kill around 15 spiders in and outside the cave. Both of these areas are completely empty due to the large amount of players. Once we do find some near extinct spiders, we really get a feel for our level 4 power spike. We got Judgment and Blessing of Might. Judgment is pretty much a nuke every 10 seconds, dealing 20% of the enemy's HP. We just have to remember to always reapply a seal after a Judgment. And Blessing of Might increases our attack power, so our base punch damage increases by 50%. It's no wonder out of the 4 super weapon reliant classes, Warrior, Paladin, Rogue and Hunter, Paladin is the best for this challenge. Warriors only get Battle Shout until level 5 because their every attack ability needs a weapon, and Rogue and Hunter are just pretty much naked civilians. Inside the cave, I reread the quest text manually and realize I need to pick up a memento for a ghost. Oh, there it is, look. So after running around aimlessly, I finally find it. I have a really bad quest add-on that doesn't show the quests on the map, and more importantly has a memory leak. So every half an hour, I either restart the game or it starts lagging like crazy. And by the way, I can't get rid of it because it's the only add-on showing the custom quests on this server. After a lot of lucky spider spawns, we finish the Spooder quest, feel bad about the awesome rewards and bring back the ghost memento so the ex-wife can take that too.
Samuel Phipps roams at a ruined camp along the road northeast of Deathnell.
We get a quest to kill the zombie husband of a slain wife and also some Scarlet Crusaders, but the locusts of players pick the area so clean I cannot even tell I have a quest there. I realize I have to pick up some supply crates from the level 1 zombie village, and after a bit of annoying running around, I hand it in to get the actual Scarlet quest. When I saw like 4 people waiting in line trying to steal the tag of the zombie husband, I've just about had enough and decided to leave Deathnell for the time being to start and work on gathering the ingredients for our first weapon. For our first weapon we need copper bars, 2 linen cloth and skill 15 blacksmithing. Instead of trying to get cloth, I ran to Brill to find a mining trainer. Remember, to train and upgrade our professions, we have to do an external minigame challenge, and for mining it is Deep Rock Galactic.
They uncover the secrets of the past. We must seek the advice of dwarfs from the future.
It's a co-op game about mining bug-infested planets as a dwarf, doing a random mission objective. For apprentice mining, we only need to do a Hazard 1 mission, but I struggle to even find one on the server list. I join a game where we have to kill 2 of these giant bug juggernauts and their spawn. I have a cryogun that can freeze bugs and we can shatter them with the other weapons. And after a bit of fucking around, we managed to take down 1 juggernaut. Nice, we got it. I run around looking for the second one, but the host exits the game and we get booted back to the mothership. I find another Hazard 1 mission, and let me tell you, this is the longest, deepest, scariest fucking cave I have ever seen in this game or otherwise. It takes literally 2 minutes for me to find my 1 teammate. In the mission, we have to find 4 mineral veins, attach 4 rockets on each of them, and send them blasting to the surface. Other people join and we start going after the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th mineral vein. Sometimes we get attacked by swarms of bugs and I use explosives to halt the bugs whilst I'm desperately trying to find my teammates in the dark. Since I'm a driller class, I can dig towards the location of my teammates, but the cave is so huge and deep, I struggle to even make sense of the map and I'm running out of fuel for my drill. After much digging and running around, I finally get back to my teammates at the 4th and final vein to trigger the last mission objective. Survive. We need to head back immediately to the drop pod, but it's super far away above us somewhere, and there's no way we can make it back on time. At least not through the convoluted cave system. But that's where the driller comes in handy. You see, out of the 4 team members, 3 of us are drillers.
That's my driller!
So we literally just take turns digging this massive tunnel to the surface and eventually make it out alive. There's only one thing left to do. Rock and stone, brother! Nice. We only made it because of the 3 miners, otherwise we would have been fucked. You can probably guess which character is mine. After unlocking mining, I think about our next move. We hark back to Deathnell with much fewer players than before and get started on the Scarlet quest where I literally almost die. We also go back to finish the Zombie Husband and the Scarlet quests. So Deathnell is now finished.
What would you ask? If only I listened to reason, adventurer?
We need to hit skill 15 in blacksmithing to be able to craft a weapon. Since I recently did this challenge on a warrior where I realized quite late that we needed linen cloth and almost died in the process of acquiring it, I decided to go after cloth early. Linen cloth can only drop from level 6 or 7 NPCs onward, so there is only one mob that we could defeat at this level, in this zone, naked. I decided to head to the Western Scarlet Tower early to get some cloth from the Scarlet Warriors, and managed to snag our first copper vein on the way to the tower. There were at least 4 players at the tower, but we only needed a couple of warriors to get 2 linen cloth. I mean, there's a 50% chance to get linen cloth. How hard could it be? Some nice guy with a cool name even offered me to trade cloth, but trading for materials is disallowed in this challenge. Let's see how many warriors it took to find linen cloth. Protection scroll, that's pretty good. No! Yes, we got 2 of them too! After almost dying a couple of times, we finally got our 2 cloths. I farmed a couple more warriors in case I wanted to make multiple weapons for other characters, but we were out of luck and only found 1 extra cloth. We needed around 8 copper veins to get to 15 blacksmithing and craft our first weapon. I jumped down to get a copper vein and miraculously managed to not pull a single murloc my way. I didn't aggro him. I run around the shore and spot 4 copper veins. I leave the one down at the coast for last. Let's go, baby. 4 mines. I jumped down to acquire the vein, but couldn't help and pulled a high-level caster murloc. There really isn't anywhere to hide or run, because the murlocs are everywhere. It's worth noting that if I learned Divine Protection at level 6, I could have maybe survived. But I didn't, so we die. So what happens when we die? I thought about doing a hardcore challenge, but this server has many new quests, new zones and new dungeons that I want to try, so I decided on a penalty system, which is worse than deleting our character. Exercise. This might not seem like much, but I'm a pretty big boy and I also want to motivate you guys to exercise at home. You don't need any weights or experience. I mean, in one exercise I'm literally picking up my chair and using it for bicep curls. Also, anyone can do push-ups on their knees, but this time around I surprised myself by doing full push-ups. After finishing the exercise penalty, I realize if I die one more time in game, I will also die in real life. Now, we could resurrect at the spirit healer, but I decide to not be a pussy and res above the shoreline. We snag a couple of extra copper veins on the way back to Brill. After some careful maneuvering with a skeleton frost mage, a guy steals our vein, but we still have enough. Found a green pouch, but I can't equip it. We return safely back to Brill to smelt our bars and realize that Brill does not in fact have a blacksmith trainer. It's kind of funny because Goldshire has this exact building and the opposite problem. They have a blacksmith but are missing the mining trainer. We run to find the blacksmith of Undercity, already dreading the Undercity lift. Please help me. Trump, please help me, Donald Trump, please. After my PC melting due to the memory leak add-on, we get to the guy and we can begin our apprentice blacksmith challenge.
Wanna be a smith? Wanna forge blades to gut your foe? Hammers to crush his skull?
To craft the perfect weapon here, we must craft the perfect weapon there.
The game is the VR game Mother Gunship Forge, where we have to beat 4 rooms to unlock apprentice blacksmithing. It's a roguelite where you have to dodge with your head and craft crazy weapons on your wrists. There's an easy mode and a normal mode, but I'm no pussy. But seriously, it's really easy to die in the first 3 rooms, so we need to lock the fuck in. To start with, we get a double connector and attach a sort of minigun to it that has a wind-up time. The bullets on the minigun are really slow, so it's difficult to hit the various enemies that spawn around the room. We got a Christmas butt plug. Let's go with the coffee one. After beating the first room, we pick up a coffee canister. Canisters increase our weapon effectiveness by a lot, but they have to recharge if you shoot a lot. The coffee canister increases damage and projectile speed, so it's perfect for this gun. Nice, well done. I think... One sec, I read your comment. Fuck. In the second and the third rooms, they give us forge upgrades, and we just use these to upgrade our weapons level, therefore their damage, and decrease their wind-up time. The fourth and final room gives us another weapon, a flak cannon, but we have to ice the coffee canister for now if you want to use it on the same arm. It's funny how it works because it's much easier psychologically to only have weapons on one arm in this game. Maybe the next time we learn journeyman blacksmithing, we can pick up where we left off and beat the first boss of the game, the housefly. We unlock apprentice blacksmithing and make our very first armor pieces. A chest piece, bracers, and leggings. Our damage reduction shoots up from 10% with just the devotion aura to 24% with the armor. Some idiot decided to take 8 copper bars to craft a pair of boots, so I catch myself before I don't even have any bars left for a weapon. We make it to blacksmithing skill 15, where we can finally create our first weapon, a copper mace. Luckily, a little voice in my head warns me not to craft it. We don't know how to use maces, and we only have linen cloth for one weapon, remember?
Use of a new weapon? Make it fast. I'm very busy.
We go to the Undercity weapon master, but he only teaches swords, which we already know, and pole arms, which we don't need. We either have to go to Thunder Bluff or Orgrimmar to learn new weapon skills. I think to myself, Orgrimmar definitely teaches axes and Thunder Bluff definitely teaches maces. But realistically, I can only go to Orgrimmar by Zeppelin. But I'm not entirely sure if paladins can even use axes on this server. Either way, I decide to skill up blacksmithing to 20, where we can also create a one-handed axe. I just about managed to skill up to 20 purely from rough sharpening stones, and we head to the Orgrimmar Zeppelin. Luckily, I realized early that we needed 10 silver for the weapon skill And just before we hopped on the Zeppelin to try and kill level 10 poisonous scorpions in Durotar for money, I would die to scorpions. I realized it would probably be much safer to farm the level 6 Darkhounds and Bats here next to Brill. In case you are screaming at your screen right now that weapon skills can only be learned at level 10, don't worry. On this server I tested it and you can learn them at level 1, you just need the 10 silver. We get super lucky with the drops because usually these creatures of the night only drop a couple of coppers worth of meat or fangs. Right here. Oh fuck! Oh, a rifle one. Oh my god, look! Holy fuck, we can sell this shit. I managed to find not only 2 white weapons to sell, but also a green short sword that is worth 2.5 silver. It's a bittersweet moment because I can't use it due to the challenge rules, but I can sure as hell sell it. And just in time because the Zeppelin arrives and run up the stairs to jump on the already moving Zeppelin. Luckily, it goes to Orgrimmar, and my god, once we loaded in, I was amazed. My god, it's so cool. Get the fuck out of me. They designed this entirely new section for Orgrimmar called the Valley of the Winds. That was so beautiful. Looks real, you know what I mean? It looks like vanilla WoW. This is fucking cool. We run to the Valley of Profession Slaves and find the Weapon Master who warns us not to waste his time.
Here to learn how to wield a new weapon or just to waste my time?
It's the moment of truth. Will we waste his time because paladins can't use axes? No! We can absolutely learn one-handed axes as a paladin. I get a mini heart attack because we need an extra silver for the flux ingredient, but sparing 13 copper, we have just about enough money to buy it. Thank you, green short sword. On top of this comically large anvil that doesn't even make sense, we craft our first weapon, the copper axe. And we have our first weapon. Ooh. Yeah, baby! Today, we'll get started on some bags, but we won't do it through tailoring.
Backstory time. Hexcess, the Princess of Hexcess.
Hexcess is a daughter of Hexlord Malakras, the famous Amani warlock of Zulaman. Well, one of his many spawns at least. Suspicious eyes following her every step, not just because of her half-forest, half-jungle troll heritage, but her dark fell powers which are still not welcome in the Horde. What can Orcish warlocks teach her, and what can she teach them in this great cultural exchange? Since she is used to offering sacrifices and deals with magic, she will be the skinner and enchanter of the craft contract group. This might seem like a weird combination, but I'll explain why very soon. Trolls on this server start on a special island, but it is not the Echo Isles you are familiar with from Cataclysm. We load in, and due to some broken models, instead of crabs, we see blue squares. If it's your first time playing on this server, I have a cool tip for you. Swim to the shore to get skinning. You might be saying, I need to be level 5 to get professions. It's true, but here skinning can be learned at level 1. So we navigate through this new and dangerous looking island chain without seeing a single aggressive enemy, and swim to the shore to reach Senjin village, where we can learn skinning. Unfortunately, I forgot that we need 85 copper for the skinning knife, and I really don't want to harv back and swim back, so we visit the orc starter, the Valley of the Trials. Days before this stream, I tested this exact scenario and I managed to gather quite literally around 20 to 30 skins just from going around and skinning the level 1 boars, the freshly made level 1 orcs killed for their first quest. The idea is trolls have an innate 5% damage bonus against beasts, and on this server we get an additional Wrath of the Lich King style passive towards beast slaying at each skinning tier. This means at artisan skinning we will deal a whopping plus 10% damage to beasts as a skinner troll. And warlocks are one of the most efficient classes at constantly grinding mobs. An honorable mention goes to shamans because they can plop down their totems in the middle of the savannah and kill all the lions around. I wanted a troll warlock though, seeing as they are a new combination on this server. Unfortunately, skinning 100 pigs in the valley doesn't pan out the way I planned it. To acquire the 85 coppers for the skinning knife, I finished the pig quest, feeling quite bad about not being able to skin any of my prey. Then my suspicions become a reality and there isn't even a trade goods vendor in the valley, so we are forced to run back to Senjin and acquire a skinning knife there. Skinning knife. I initially forgot to do the video game challenge to unlock skinning, so let me edit it over here. We simply have to kill 3 animals in The Hunter, Call of the Wild.
To be able to stalk our prey perfectly, we must learn new hunting methods.
This game is ridiculously buggy. I couldn't even record it properly, no matter if I played it in windowed or full screen mode, so forgive me if some of the footage is laggy or is completely frozen. I just find it funny that this fairly newish game is the only one on the list that I cannot record properly. I can even record Insane Aquarium, a 25-year-old video game, no problem. Anyways, we begin by shooting a beautiful male Javan Rusa. To get this challenge done, I need to get at least a bronze medal for my kills, which means shooting bigger prey with large antlers, but we also have to use the correct ammo type and shoot them in a vital organ like their lungs. Otherwise, the medal, the trophy medal, degrades by 1 level and we might not get a bronze. I think I hit the Javan Rusa pretty badly and with a larger ammo type, so I'm praying to the gods it was at least a silver trophy medal, downgraded to a bronze. I also take some shots at other animals scared by the ruckus and managed to hit a larger red deer seemingly pretty square in the middle of its lungs, and this time with the correct ammo type. I also shot at some kangaroos, but my footage is probably fucked around that part. To gather the first Javan Rusa shot, I have to follow the blood trail for quite a while as I only hit a non-vital organ. We eventually find it and luckily it was a silver to begin with, downgraded to a bronze, so it counts. We just about missed its liver, which would have been a vital organ shot, by the way. We go back to the original crime scene and find the giant red deer not far from it. It was a gold, not very far from the diamond cut line actually, so we got our second trophy. We also hear a very angry grey kangaroo and shoot it twice as it's running away. Sometimes these kangaroos can run up to you and start punching you, but this time it just bolted. We find it quite a bit away as I only managed to meat shot it, but it's at least a bronze, so it counts. We finish the challenge and unlock apprentice skinning. By the way, the next time around, when we want to unlock journeyman skinning, we have to hunt just 1 animal. Now you might be asking, wait, only 1 the second time around? Well, yes, but it has to be a randomly selected animal from all the animals, which means we might have to potentially hunt for it for 40 minutes, and it needs to be a bronze medal again. We finally harv back to the troll starter and start killing the suspicious blue squares, which are supposed to be amethyst crabs. This is how they are supposed to look, by the way. Killing just 1 crab takes my entire mana bar. Level 3. We travel to the main quest hub, and since every new quest NPC is also a blue box, I decide to reset my models. We have a voiceover add-on for quests, but it doesn't work for new quests. So I have to put my best Jamaican accent on, which just sounds like a mix of Russian and Irish. I hit a chord. Something inside you knew what I claimed was truth. Good. Our first quests are about collecting bananas and killing tigers. Finally, I thought, I can make use of my new skinning that we spent so long acquiring. Well, not really. The devs forgot to give skins to the tigers, so I cannot even skin a single one of them. We basically swam to the shore for absolutely nothing. We also have to learn about the troll god of death, Bon Samedi. You can actually see him laughing at you when you die as a troll, but I'm not planning on dying this episode as I don't want to do any exercise. We find one of his tablets in a nearby cave, but the quest text has been badly written, so we struggle to find the second tablet. Some trolls from the village become mesmerized by a magical scroll, so we have to knock some sense into them. I guess this quest has been badly scripted because half of them just simply die instead of waking up. We learn Immolate and Corruption, but it still takes an entire mana bar and punches to kill anything, so we have to wait around a lot. Instead of burning the evil scrolls that turns trolls into hex trolls, we do the stupid thing and return the evil scroll to the village. In the meantime, we also find a second one, this tablet on top of the mountain in some cool water shrine. The village elder tells us to take the evil scroll to Senjin. Maybe the witch doctor there can tell us more about its origins, but if you played any classic WoW, you probably know where it came from. By the way, at level 4 I could have maybe went and crafted a sword with the Corpsman, but I'm not sure if warlocks can even use a sword, and either way we would have to travel to Undercity to train it and farm 10 silver for it. So I decide to wait until level 6 where we can use the first blacksmithing dagger we can craft. We get started on some Murloc and Naga quests. Now don't do what I did and come from the shore. At least I collected the fast respawning shells, but I have to kill a ton of Murlocs to even get to the cave entrance. And there are already shells inside the cave too. You can actually go around and jump into the cave from the southwest without facing a single aggressive mob. Inside the cave we also kill some Naga mages and we juke the fuck out of their leader by line of sighting. For the Naga idols, the demon trainer teaches us how to summon our first minion, an imp.
Subscribe to my channel.
We have to get back to the Naga cave and kill the leader we already killed, which is classic WoW, am I right? I mean, not the expansion, the situation. The imp's fireball helps us out a great deal though, so we can kill stuff now for basically half a mana bar. We finish this lovely troll starter and swim once again to Senjin. I left for night to attend the festival Senjin, but when I returned this morning my hut was like this, burned. The witch doctor confirms our suspicions and tells us the evil scroll did in fact come from the Echo Isles. That is where we are heading in the next Hexcess episode. By the way, I can't wait to hit level 40 on her because there are some of these new white raptor mounts we could use. Our goal with Hexcess is so she learns enchanting as a second profession. I really wanted leatherworking on her, but like I said, every recipe has a few bind on pickup items and enchanting has this overpowered wand, usable at any level, but we need to pretty much max our enchanting to get it. Without having enchanting on her, we would have no wands after level 40 basically. And remember, as per the challenge rules, we cannot unlearn professions, so we cannot pick up leatherworking on her. To finish up this episode and finally get a weapon on Hexcess as well, we will also need a light leather for the dagger. This might seem trivial to you, but remember, at this point we mainly get leather scraps and only leather workers can combine them into leather, which is bullshit. We have to kill a few scorpions until we finally get a rare light leather and we send it to Corpsman immediately. How does the rest of the craft contract group relate to Hexcess? Corpsman, being a newly reformed holy man, does not like that she's a demonic spellcaster. Hexcess points out the fact that Corpsman became a paladin not so long ago, and he even prayed to the fell powers in his time of need, so this shut him up fairly quickly. Luckily on Corpsman I did a small amount of off-camera mining, so we have all the minerals. We have to run to Undercity again because Brielle doesn't have a fucking blacksmithing trainer. Don't. Oh, thank God. It's actually ridiculous how poor we are. Even the profession training cost and the, 30 copper postage costs is something that we almost cannot afford at this point. Even this simple level 6 white dagger has crazy requirements already. Copper bars, a rough sharpening stone, weak flux, and of course a light leather. Not to mention skill 30 blacksmithing, Jesus. We just about managed to skill up blacksmithing with the rough stones, got some more child support money for the weak flux ingredient, and Hexcess finally has her first weapon, with some sharpening stones included. And we got our first weapon! Look at that. The goal of this episode is to craft a gun. We are desperate for some bags, and the leather worker next episode will need a gun to hunt the animals who have the bag materials.
Backstory time. Elemetal, the drunken elementalist.
The backstory of Elemetal is a bit complex, much like engineering itself. He is part of the first generation of bronzebeard dwarf shamans, though from his skin color you can tell he's half dark iron. Instead of respecting the elements and learning the ways of the shaman, he used his powers for personal gain. He was part of an underground goblin mech fighting arena, where he would fight for money to fuel his raging alcohol addiction. The elements were already pissed off seeing their pupil use these unnatural mechanical creations, but one thing really made them furious. Elemetal, as his name suggests, started bending metal, or, well, the earth inside the metal. Once the spectators realized he was twisting his own mech and the enemies in unnatural ways to win fights, well, he barely escaped with his life. In a drunken stupor, he lost all of his totems, all of his clothes, and he has to start learning the elemental ways all over again. He also needs a reminder on his engineering skills, but I know just the place that will help him. We have to head to the brand new gnomish starter zone to learn some engineering from the big-headed folks over there. There are 3 reasons why we should hit level 4 before we head to the gnomish starter. 1. The road is dangerous. 2. We should get our earth totem because we cannot get it there. And 3. We can get a weapon from Corpsman at level 4. We start blasting the wolves with lightning and it becomes very apparent to me how powerful shamans are. I did this starter recently with a warrior in my Turtle WoW video that only 10 of you have seen, but that's okay. But our shaman seems even more powerful than our troll warlock Hexcess because we don't need to use our entire mana bar to kill a single enemy. We feel really bad, naked, in the cold, especially because the first quest NPC taunts us with frostbite.
So you might need something to keep your hands warm, HM?
HM.
A pair of nice warm gloves, and I'll make sure you don't lose any digits to frostbite.
So we hit the infinite beer keg that is available to all dwarves on this server, well, at least every half an hour. And we managed to get so drunk we puke on an innocent rabbit. Thanks to our overpowered lightning bolt, we breeze through the wolves, kill a bunch of trogs, kill a metric ton of pigs as well. Now I'm sure we don't have to kill this many enemies in the gnome starter. Foreshadowing.exe. And we hit level 4 in record time. To get our Earth Totem, we need to gather ice from nearby ice elementals. Go figure. But it seems really weird. They changed the starter zone. The ice elementals seem to have chased away all the ice trolls. Where could they be? We drink another unknown substance and speak to the massive Earth elemental in the starter. He seems super understanding, not even bringing up our mech fighting, metal bending past. And he even offers a chip from his own body so the shaman trainer can craft it inside our Earth Totem. All this niceness brings a tear to my eyes. I love you guys. I forget to send a level 4 weapon from Corpsman to this character, and well, who cares? I mean, the gnomish starter probably has a million mailboxes like all the other starter zones on the server do. Right? We sobered up enough to feel pain and hit the Trog cave hard. Stone Skin Totem reduces damage taken by a flat amount, so we only get damaged like 1 to 3 damage each hit. We leave the cave, and at the bend we turn left to go towards the new Nomi starter. We have to fight our way through this level 5 spider cave that I misremembered. I thought all the spiders were level 1, but that's just because the last time I was here I was completely drunk, and in World of Warcraft, if your character is drunk, it sees the enemy's level as being lower. Fun fact. Anyways, we get poisoned a dozen times but make it out alive of the Spooder cave. The gnome starter is the most amazing thing I've ever seen in this game. We now know where all the ice trolls went because there are hundreds of them in this massive ice cave you can see. The gnomes also built this Fallout Vault style level 1 zone. Welcome to Gear. We are tasked to kill trogs and leper gnomes and oozes, and it's so fucking boring. There are hundreds of enemies around the gnome starter in and outside the vault, so it feels like a 30-year-old EverQuest game. Also, guess what? There isn't even a single fucking mailbox anywhere.
Huzzah! You found them! You're an absolute savior, my friend. Here, it's not
all this technology and not a single mailbox, what the hell. So we have to finish this entire starter with just our level 1 lightning bolt. We kill like 30 enemies inside the vault and head outside only to have to kill like a dozen more trogs and 14 more trolls. Then we need to kill the leader of the trolls who stole a pair of engineering goggles. I meet this gnome warlock named Night Clown, and when I touch the quest goggles, I seem to remember I used to be an engineer. So I ask Night Clown, the gnome, to teach me the ropes, but he refuses. We make a solemn vow to protect each other from the angry spiders and collect some ingredients on the way to Keranos. I must learn mining and engineering at Steel Grill's depot near Keranos. So I head to Steel Grill's depot and we begin our quest for mining and engineering. Technically I don't need to learn mining again because Corpsman has mining, but by the end of the episode you will see why it was such a good idea. We do the mining video game challenge once again, just for fun. I craft this really bad grenade launcher gun in Mother Gunship, but the meat of the challenge is in underdogs.
In the arena, cast your metal against their metal.
To unlock engineering, we have to make it to day 4 and it won't be easy. Every night we have to fight in an arena of angry mechs that will rip our arms off and kill us permanently given the chance. In the beginning of an underdog's run, we have to pick our weapons. Since movement and not getting damaged in this roguelite is key, the best weapons are the simple ones. Weapons you just bash with. But I decided to go the goblin engineering route and pick up a saw that can get stuck in enemies, and also a wrecking ball on my left hand I can extend and swing around like a fucking flail. We begin on our first night, but I'll just let it play out for you.
Locked in. New worker. Let's go. Yeah, doggy, doggy. Who's a dead junk dog? Who's a dead junk dog? Yes, you are. Yes, you fucking are. Pussy. Here we go. That's a fucking home run, bruv.
Oh fuck.
They going easy on us, big bruv. To your right.
We get a little beat up, but I decide not to repair the next day. So the second day, we get an overpowered item I've never seen before.
Wow.
A machete that makes all the street fights an instant win. This means we can go looking for items, and when motherfuckers bother us, we get to keep all of it to ourselves. Some little girls from the 10-year-old army do steal some of our cash though. I get a bunch of gear that increases our stun damage, but I'm not entirely sure if getting your saw stuck in enemies counts as a stun. Still, we put the add-ons on our right sawing arm, and we pick the same sponsor for the second night, Mrs. Scope. She will give us physical gear, but some of the enemies will glow blue, turbocharged, and they will deal more damage and move around faster. Anyways, this is how the fight went.
Come on, come on. Oh, this one stuns as well, guys.
Fuck the turbo ones. Wait for him to calm down. It's getting hot, yo. Pull away. Move out of there. Ew, fucking roaches. These lunatics. Man, these people are seriously broken. Watch that armor there, yeah? Try not to punch that.
Come on.
Yo, good mercy. Grinder's nasty.
In the madness, I deal some environmental damage and push my green screen a little bit, so sorry about that.
Behind, man, behind.
Come on, come on, come on.
Huh. That's a spiky motherfucker right there. Aim for the head. Stunned him. He's zoned out.
Oh, fuck.
As a reward for the second night, I pick a second saw blade, just for the hell of it. The third day we repair and get some more gear. This is the final night we have to beat to unlock engineering, but it won't be easy. Saws can get overheated and take more damage if you use them too much, so we have to be careful.
Bring it, bring it, bring it. Scott's turbo bullshit. You ready? You see the armor, brother? Big butt in the pit, Rick.
That's not great.
Alpha bot's your priority. Watch the mouth when it's open. We got a buzzsaw, baby.
Yeah, that's an alpha dog, and it's very dangerous. So, let's saw it to pieces.
headhunter. Yo, I can get used to this shit. That crowd is untamed. Yo, that arm is fire. Great buy. Send him flying into the morgue. Yo, you flying off a ticket in.
Get fucked!
More incoming. Yo, they're opening the grinder.
Also, we get a bunch more double scrap dog spawns, so what do? We use both of our saws at the same time.
The energy here is insane. Almost done. That much closer to getting in. Firing up the pit, yeah? Sold.
We finish the challenges and unlock mining and engineering on Elemetal. Now we will need to hit a whopping 50 in engineering skill to craft the first gun, so I send the current mineral inventory from Corpsman to Elemetal, thinking I should buy a mining pick on Corpsman so I don't forget to buy it on Elemetal. But I don't, because, well, it's an extra 30 copper in postage I really can afford right now. I'm sure it won't return and bite us in the ass later. Especially because I sent Corpsman's axe, and I didn't realize dwarves cannot use axes, so I get hit with a double postage cost for no reason. How does the rest of the group relate to Elemetal? Well, he doesn't really like the Horde, and after his troll fiasco in the Gnome starter, he likes Hexcess even less. However, he recognizes that both of them are half-caste races, and he knows that he himself hasn't been an angel either. A common ground is that both him and Corpsman are miners, and he also likes that he gets a really cool weapon crafted by Corpsman, so he will do his best for their mutual survival in the group. I have enough materials to craft one extra weapon, so I put everything I have into this measly one-handed copper mace, but don't worry, this will be our savior. Elemetal gets his first weapon and enchants it with Rock Biter, and heads out to acquire the minerals. We hit the Yeti cave hard, even without the Yeti quests, and I'm so glad I realized this early, but Lightning Bolt is no longer necessary for close fights. We pretty much deal lightning bolt damage with just the Rock Biter mace, so the new rotation is Earth Shock, Stone Skin Totem, heal when I have to, and just let my mana regen naturally. Unfortunately, as per the challenge rules, we have to learn cooking to be able to eat and drink, of course. Oh, schematic! Holy fuck, oh, it's a squirrel. I get a little pissed off because as we are nearing our first copper vein, someone steals it. But as it turns out, I don't have a mining pick, you fucker! It doesn't fucking matter because I forgot to buy the fucking mining pick. So I head back to Keranos to buy one and head out once again into the wilderness in search of metal. I already dread doing this as I recently did this on Turtle WoW with the warrior, but the gods reward me with a few extra veins. We just juke the fuck out of a bear that I am now able to kill with Rock Biter and Earth Shock, and we go to the level 10 troll cave I almost died at previously. I carefully maneuver inside because even just pulling 2 mobs would surely mean my end. And I see a crevice with the final copper vein and a chest. But it is guarded by a level 10 orange level troll warlock, not unlike Hexcess herself. So let's see who wins this fight. I jump down, already dreading doing the exercise penalty for dying, and I earth shock the shit out of the shadow bolt spamming warlock, interrupting him. I heal when I have to, I let my mana regen when I have to, and I keep chipping at his health with my Rockbiter mace. Meanwhile, the scariest fucking thing happens. A gnome who wants to steal my treasure pulls the entire cave, dies next to me, and luckily, because I'm not a fucking idiot, I don't damage them and the enemies simply leash back to their spawns, leaving me unharmed. I'm so fucking scared, what the fuck? He tried to kill me. We killed the warlock, grabbed some bullshit green sword item from the chest, acquired the vein and hearthstone the hell out of there. I'm gone, bitch. And by the way, as I'm editing this, I realized the gnome was actually Night Clown from the Gnomish starter. You fucking bastard. Back in Keranos, apparently the beer-blasted boar ribs quest is gone, but that's not the only horrible thing. I speak to some gnomes nearby, and they tell me,
Can I help you? Further analysis of the gnome Regan situation, it would appear as though we not only failed to eradicate the trogs, but we also happened to turn most of the gnomish race into horrific, mindless, evil-doing leper gnomes.
They caused the outbreak in Gnomeregan. They wanted to eradicate the trogs, but just ended up turning 90% of their population to leper gnomes. Good. I go near the Yeti cave again and look at the minimap. Jackpot. Then we go inside and oh my god, that's so awesome. Holy fuck. 6 veins, 7, 8, 9 veins. Or maybe that's the same one, I don't know. Oh my god, look at this shit. So as it turns out, the devs made this Yeti cave a hyper spawn copper vein location, and you can find like 11 veins spawning in the same minimap range. Someone killed most of the Yetis too, so we only have to fight like a couple of them for the last couple of copper veins. I carefully fight my way out. With Stone Skin Totem, they only damage us for like 6 each hit instead of 10. We get back to Keranos and we got so many minerals, I almost cannot carry it back. It will be more than enough to reach skill 15 engineering, and I lose half of my money in postage just sending it to Corpsman to free up, you know, my inventory space. We really need some bags next episode. Being greedy as fuck, I returned 5 minutes later and half the veins have already respawned. I even get a chest. Back in Keranos, we level up engineering to 30 by crafting like 40 blasting powders from the rough stone we've gathered. Seriously, if I cast a single fire spell, I would explode like a keg of gunpowder. We also craft 1,000 ammo for our future hunter friend. So I head to Steel Grill's depot again. Now, it's very annoying crafting here because Keranos has the forge, but Steel Grill Depot has the trainers, so we have to run back and forth constantly. I lose literally all of my money on the engineering training, but at least pick up the Yeti quests I should have gotten sooner. We reach skill 15 engineering by crafting copper bolts, but I have 3 copper left, so I cannot train the gun or its ingredients. It's time to return to Ted the Caver's Yeti Cave for a 3rd time. To get some quest money, we start culling the Yeti population again and harvest the infinitely respawning copper veins. Seriously, this place is so good. You should come here as a horde player. I surprise myself and even kill a rare Yeti, pretty much on my own, but I give the guy that helped me with the last 30% the cloak it dropped. I can't wear it anyways. By the way, I just realized whilst editing this that was a 43 copper cloak that I could have sold. Fuck! I fight my way through the entire cave looking for the ammo crate for the second quest. I still haven't fixed my quest add-on, so I'm going in blind, guys. I read the quest text one more time and realize it's fucking outside, so I fight my way out and finally collect it. So I head to Steel Grill's depot again. We hit level 8 and I still only have money to train the gun, not the copper tube ingredient. So I realized the second quest has to be handed in not at Steel Grill's depot, but on the other side of the entire zone. So I run there. I realize it probably won't be enough for everything, so I start culling the local wildlife to finish the meat and fur quest. We run to Steel Grill's depot again. 38, nice. A pig drops a 38 copper tusk, and it makes me feel like Elon Musk. Elon Tusk? We trained the copper tube from the quest money, but I realize we need a weak flux and a wooden stock for the gun, so around another 2.5 silver. I continue killing the wildlife, but because I get lucky and find some gems in the copper veins, we run out of inventory space yet again. So I juggle running to vendors before the unlooted corpse disappears, selling stuff I don't want to sell for a later buyback. Now turns out the fucking dumbass quest has to be handed in at you know where. So we run back to Steel Grill's depot again. Then we run to Keranos to finally craft the copper tube and the gun. We buy the weak flux, craft the copper tube, then realize Keranos doesn't even have a wooden stock vendor. And you know exactly where he is. So I had to still buy the wooden stock, run back to Keranos, and finally forge the gun we wanted the entire episode. Finally, after 4 hours, fucking got it. Nice. The goal of this episode is to finally craft some bags, but we won't do it through tailoring. Leatherworking has one secret bag recipe available to pretty much Tauren only, and we will take advantage of it soon.
Backstory time. Manotaur, the beast of burden.
The character of this episode, let's call him Mill, is the son of Chief Hawkwind we meet in Camp Narache. As a son of a Tauren chieftain, our character had the immense responsibility to become a powerful warrior who would eventually lead their tribe. However, Mill, unlike his younger brother Gruul, never had the makings of a warrior. He always had more interest in the spiritual and the natural, and he had great hopes he could become one of the first Tauren priests in this new light of Anshe's teachings. His father wanted him to become a warrior, he wanted to become a priest, or even a shaman or druid, so they compromised and he became a hunter. Mill didn't feel comfortable in this new role either, at least not at first. He hated hurting animals and skinning them, and would much rather create clothes from the already collected skins, but he endured on the path of the hunter and eventually saw the necessity of killing. One day he found a young cougar pup he named Chil Ligai. For a white vegetable, its leaf, he found the cougar pup under. They had many adventures together. However, one day, under mysterious circumstances, Chil Ligai tragically died. Mill put his ashes inside a massive totem that he now carries on his back, always. He makes up a new name for himself, the manliest Tauren name he could come up with, and goes out into the wilderness, completely naked, without any weapons, to die a warrior's death.
You must prove yourself to my father, Chief Hawkwind. Up here on Red Cloud Mesa, we pride ourselves on keen hunting skills. Tauren hunt out of necessity and for sport.
Our first goal is to reach level 4 so we can use a melee weapon, then level 5 when we are able to use a gun. We begin by punching Planestriders, which is surprisingly easy. On this server, a bunch of early mobs have special abilities, like this Planestrider's hefty pack, but even that is not enough to make a dent in our health pool. I expected way worse from a naked, weaponless hunter. To be honest, it's quite disappointing. I usually record these episodes with my phone as a camera. Early on the stream it fell off twice and I just took it as an omen to not use it for today's episode. Anyways, we go and visit my actual lore grandma who calls me handsome.
Traveled all this way just to help an old woman? My, aren't you a keeper?
Even though I'm completely naked.
We need clothing and our tents need mending.
We go and visit the mountains where this druid quest NPC gives you a one-time Mark of the Wild buff. The 25 armor reduces our damage taken by like 3%. I should have completed it just before the Quillbore quests, but I forgot. Next, we go and hunt more dangerous prey. Cougars. This isn't too bad either. Sometimes I do lose up to 50% of my HP, because the cougars have a leap and ravage attack, but it's easily avoidable. I am very much afraid of the following Battlebore and Quillbore quests, so the plan is to grind cougars until the quest hand-in can level me up on its own. So we do that, we hearthstone back to the camp and we make it to level 4.
Provisions, adventurer. With your skill in the ways of the hunt, you will surely...
I don't have linen cloth for a new weapon, so we send over Corpsman's trusty copper axe that we crafted in the first episode. By the way, I think I misremembered last episode and this server doesn't have mailboxes in the starter zones. So now I have to run to Camp Bloodhoof for a mailbox, which means dodging dangerous coyotes on the way. Mulgore is one of the more dangerous starter zones to travel in, as aggressive enemies often walk over the roads. I also send over the gun Elemetal crafted last episode, with 500 ammo to boot. Then I have to run back as my Hearthstone is still on cooldown. I'm already dreading coming back here as there are literally 20 Tauren bones near this Knoll camp. I hate any race with a silent G in their names. In Camp Narache, there are 2 new quests where we have to deal with the nearby Grim Totem clan who overhunt the area. This woman's husband went to talk some sense into them and never returned. My little brother Gruul is tired of diplomacy. We get started on some battle boars. The sharpening stones increase my axe's DPS probably by like 30%, as it's a flat damage increase on a fast weapon, and the generally useless aspect of the monkey gives us 8% dodge, which is decent for melee fights. We find the lost husband and of course he's been killed. A mystery as to how, because these guys are pushovers. They are easy to kill even as a naked melee hunter, and their aggro range is absolutely minuscule. You couldn't pull the entire camp if you tried. A cool detail I found is that they use ropes to travel down to the main region of Mulgore. Through the grief of a widow, we reach level 5, and this is where the fun begins. We start hunting pigs for sport and finish up the quest in no time. The gun does like double the DPS of my axe. As a hunter without a pet, you can orb walk like you're playing Dota, meaning you run away between shots to get more shots in. This little maneuver packs 50% more shots for every shot we take. This isn't easy when you're wearing a half-a-ton totem on your back, so I'm simulating this in real life. By using this brand new ergonomic mouse I just got, it just feels so weird to use. We run into the Quillbore ravine to commit genocide. Well, gun-ocide. Sometimes we fight double, but that's no problem. I always just shoot the farthest enemy to get the most gun DPS in. We find their chief in their tent in the presence of 2 other mobs, but we are the big bad wolf. We huff and puff and blow the first one up, then the second, then the third. The hardest enemies in the ravine are ironically the level 5 battle boars. I always found it weird how pigmen use pigs as pets, It's like if a human used a monkey instead of a dog, if you think about it. There's a secret quest you can pick up here by killing Squealer. So we kill him, line of sight his shaman body, and pick up the battle plans against my clan. Since our Hearthstone is on cooldown, we have to sneak out of the cave, which isn't easy when you are a massive Manotaur. But we make it out just on the cusp of sunrise. Back at camp, everyone is congratulating me, and even my father is proud of me, especially for revealing the pig's plans. We reached level 6, and this is the second biggest power spike that hunters get, because we get Arcane Shot and Hunter's Mark. At Bloodhoof Village we find the herbalism trainer, and we can begin our video game challenge for it.
Rondo, it's got what plants crave.
When designing the challenges, I looked up how long an average level of PvZ takes, and apparently it's 10 minutes. We finished the first 3 levels in about 10 minutes though. The first level you just spam pea shooters in a single lane. The second level you get sunflowers, which don't attack but give you extra sun power to spend on other resources. The game does a good job of easing you into its mechanics and new cards. Though the third level you get a cherry explosion that is overkill for that level, in my opinion. We complete level 3 and unlock Apprentice level Herbalism. Then we find the leatherworking trainer and begin the challenge in Valheim.
Boar, deer, troll and bear, their hides become leatherware.
It's an open world survival game with Vikings where we have to create increasingly difficult to acquire leather sets to unlock higher levels of leatherworking in WoW. For the first challenge, I just need to get a full scrap or rag armor set made from pig leather. I run around collecting wood and stones to create rudimentary tools and weapons, and I also collect berries and mushrooms that increase our stamina and health temporarily. In the future, the Artisan Leatherworking Challenge might actually take the longest out of all challenges to complete, as we will have to progress farther into the game to hunt trolls and bears, so I want to progress a little further this episode and make a base. I found an abandoned house that I take apart cleverly by placing a nearby workbench, instead of just hitting it for half an hour with an axe. This is also the safest way to destroy the beehive inside, which poisons anyone nearby and will provide us with honey, a high quality early food. From the ruins we build our own house with a campfire and also a chimney so we don't die from smoke inhalation, and it just looks so inviting in the winter time. I'm sorry if the video looks too bright because of all the snow. We run around and hunt some pigs, and we almost cannot find our way back to our house. But in the end, we eventually make it back, fall into a dreamless sleep next to a welcoming fire, and the next day we craft the rest of the rack set, unlocking Apprentice Leatherworking. We log on to Hexcess to make some money for postage, and also skin some animals for our new leatherworking. I run around the gates of Orgrimmar and do the stupidest thing imaginable, trying to kill level 10 Scorpids as a level 6 naked warlock. These Scorpids often drop eyeballs that can be sold for almost a silver each, but they have a nasty poison attack that also deals massive nature damage when applied. Remember, if I die, I have to do an exercise penalty. The only way I can kill the Scorpids is by running around Zilped, my imp, whilst he relentlessly fires fireballs until the Scorpids die. So this level 10 Scorpid stung me just as the previous venom disappeared, and the only reason I survived is because I am a troll warlock specifically. I have a demon skin which regenerates health, and trolls regenerate some extra health in combat on top of that. So I just about didn't die to the poison. I pull a couple of other high level animals, but after way too many close calls I decide to head back next to Razor Hill, and I start to fuck with the local wildlife more on my level. Since the postage costs 30 copper, whether it's one item or 20, I decide to only send back full stacks of skins. Since I also don't have extra bags, this is painful. I turn the scraps into light leather on Manotaur, but decide to log back onto Hexcess and even do some skinning in the level 1 zone, but there just aren't enough new people online. It's like the server is turning desolate again. After much skinning, Manotaur is now able to craft our first leatherworking gear set. Chest, legs, boots, a belt, and a cloak. We crafted an ammo pouch which frees up inventory space and gives us 10% extra shooting speed. We can also craft the shitty, light armor kits, but on this server we can give our own pants a Wrath of the Lich King style fur lining for 5 attack power. Nice. We are no longer naked! Actually, we look pretty fucking sick. And we are able to craft a full set for Elemetal as well, as long as we dish out the 2 silver postage cost. Yikes. How does the rest of the group relate to Manotaur? He is pretty average with everybody. Manotaur hates that Hexcess uses dark magic to kill animals and skins them. He usually likes shamans, but Elemetal is more of a fallen mechanic than a naturalistic guide. He probably likes Corpsman the most, as Manotaur wanted to become a priest once, so he respects the light and he sees how the light granted absolution to Corpsman. Maybe he can receive his own absolution one day as well. Our next goal, the main goal of the episode, is to craft the 6-slot Kodo hide bags. The hardest ingredient is the 3 pieces of Kodo leather for each bag. Normally, Kodos roam the plains of Mulgore, but on this server, they seemingly spawn in the same locations, and there is one group, luckily, right next to Bloodhoof village. Now, I am a level 6 hunter without a pet, so I can only realistically kill the level 7 or 8 Kodo calves, and only if I kite them well. Weirdly enough, the entire Kodo herd doesn't aggro when we kill the calves. You might be wondering, how on earth can we collect Kodo leather when Hexcess is the skinner, not Manotaur? Well, for whatever weird reason, the Kodo leather is a regular loot drop instead of a skin drop. After killing the calves, I am 100% serious when I say there's a lost Kodo calf NPC right next to them that gives us a quest. Apparently it has an owner somewhere in Bloodhoof village, which is the only reason we don't shoot it. The other issue with the Kodo hide bags is that they require a recipe, which comes from a quest. So we head to the Thunder Bluff leatherworking trainer. There are a bunch of dead bodies in the lake, by the way, but don't worry about those. At the leatherworking trainer, I get confused because the quest is nowhere to be found. Turns out you need to do a prerequisite quest where you have to hand in 12 light leathers. So what's the issue? Just do the quest with Hexcess, you might say. Well, yes, but the second quest offering the recipe requires leatherworking, and as per the challenge rules, we cannot have duplicate professions or unlearned professions. So me being cute and dividing up the professions between the troll and the tauren just so Hexcess can enjoy that nice 5% beast slaying bonus, just fucked with us big time. Now I'm thinking, can we even get bags? Do we need to wait until the next episode when we finally level the 5th character with tailoring and then farm linen cloth for hours until we get the freaking tailoring bags? But I have one more idea up my sleeve, and I go and check the auction house.
Looking for something special?
Luckily, there are 2 Kodo hideback patterns for sale. The good news is they are only 30 silver each. The bad news is that they are 20 silver more than what we can afford, even if we pull all of our characters' money together. I tried to sell some copper bars from Corpsman, as selling on the auction house is not prohibited by the challenge. We have 2 stacks from our previous Yeti Cave incident, but copper is ridiculously cheap and the deposit costs just don't justify selling them. Not that I can afford the deposit cost on this character anyways. Out of the 2 patterns, one of them expires soon and the other one fairly soon, so I get back to grinding immediately. Instead of risking my life with Scorpids on Hexcess, I decide to just do the Mulgore quests on Manotaur, as it's a Manotaur episode after all. This turns out to be a huge mistake because, as you probably know, Mulgore quests require the most amount of backspace, and we only have our backpack for now. I kill some coyotes and collect the well stones. Most of these enemies are probably classified as a rogue enemy with low health pools, so with Hunter's Mark, Arcane Shot and effectively Orb Walking, we can take care of them no problem. The Prairie Wolf's special ability is a leap that would make more sense on Cougars, but whatever. The reason why you see stacks on the Hunter's Mark is because here, each ranged hit adds a small attack power bonus to consecutive kills, making Hunter's Mark a little bit better than on classic servers. Plain Striders are not so easy to kill because they are classified as tank enemies, but we deal with them as well and hit level 7. If you ever did this starter before, you know that you need to kill each swoop vulture on sight, as the quest items are low drop rate. Swoops have very low health but have ridiculous dodge rates. To lure the lost Kodo calf back, we also need to collect berries, which cost us another inventory space. We get started on the Knoll quests with the 25 Tauren bones littered all around their camps. This Tauren shaman invites us to a group. I wish I never accepted his invite. As a petless hunter, it's nice when you can group, but these Knolls are mostly ranged anyway, so we can deal with them very easily. We have an extra quest to free Tauren prisoners, but the devs forgot to make these shared, so now we are just competing for the prisoners. At the next Knoll camp, I notice a chest, so I ask if we should roll for it, but receive no answer. I loot the chest and find a nice 1 silver axe inside, but because I have no inventory space, he takes it. As they say, the rich get richer, the poor get poorer. He also needs on the 2-handed green axe, which alone would have sold for 2 quests worth of money, even though he also cannot use it. Whilst all of this is happening, I just have those expiring recipes in the back of my mind. Then a tailoring recipe drops, which could help us out immensely the next episode, but he needs and wins that too as a shaman. I know I could have traded something for it, but like I've said, we need every copper we can scrape. And to be honest, we can't receive gift trades as per the challenge rules, and I don't want to lowball him for it and accidentally break a rule. What's even worse is that I deleted the Kyle the Frenzied quest meat from my inventory to make space if I potentially win that tailoring recipe. I will quite literally not loot that quest item again until about the next 35 Striders. In case you were wondering, another Mulgore quest item that will take us a ridiculously long amount of time to get is the Swoop Gizzard, which will drop after about 20 to 30 swoops. In the end, I steal a couple of prisoners from him and get the fuck out because I have 3 bullets left.
I need more bullets!
I hand in some quests and get flesh pellets that unfortunately we cannot use, but neither would we want to because they sell for 3 silver. Nice. We are up to 23 silver now, only 7 more to go. I sell a shadow gem on Corpsman to afford the postage costs on him and send the rest of the 500 bullets over. I kill some more animals and decide to grind the rest of the 8 prisoners quest. Since we are an herbalist and have some inventory space to spare, I decide to gather some as they can be sold for 10 copper each, if nothing else. Taurens have a plus 15 skill to herbalism, which is actually pretty useful. Most classic Andes probably don't even know how skill ratios work, and they probably think it's just a one-time bonus. That's not true. With a plus 15 in a gathering profession, all nodes stay orange, yellow and green for an extra 15 skill levels. This means that you can, for instance, farm Earthroot only to reach Briarthorn, even if you don't find any major oil. For crafting professions, this bonus is even more insane, as you can imagine. So much gold is saved by just creating the easier recipes for longer. Unfortunately, almost no races have a crafting profession bonus here, because we don't play TBC and we are not on Turtle WoW. As a side note, the herbalism bonus on Tauren makes no sense in my opinion. They should have gotten a skinning or leatherworking bonus, and the beast slaying ratios on trolls are a bit wasted as well, I think. It would have made this episode so much easier if Taurens had the, beast slaying skinning bonus, that's for sure. I find a Kodo matriarch 4 levels above me, and because I'm sick and tired of having no back space, I engage it for her Kodo leather. I get her down to half HP, but she deals a quarter of my health each hit. And as I'm down to 25% health, dodge, phew, no exercise today. We also meet our old enemy, cougars, and not the fun kind. I even find a 6-slot bag on one which taunts me. Since I also find white items we can sell and run out of backspace anyways, I decide to head to Thunderbluff to hopefully buy the recipe from the auction house once we sell the spoils. After a while we make it and I rush to sell all my items, and I open the auction house window. To my horror, both recipes are gone. But someone posted another recipe for only 6 silvers. Yoink! I grab it as fast as I can and I learn that bitch.
Our ancestors be praised.
So basically with my stupidity, we just saved ourselves 24 silver. In my brazenness, I jump on the Thunderbluff lift and fall to my death. Just kidding. We run back to the Bloodhoof village Kodo herd, kill our 3rd Kodo calf, and voila! Our first bag. I pull the level 10 Kodo bull as well and almost die to the bull. I kill it, but it doesn't even drop a Kodo leather. Sometimes that can happen. I continue farming the Kodos for more leather. I get quite brazen since I always escape on the cusp of death. I get another 2000 bullets from Elemetal.
Bullets!
I pull another bull and he fucks me up. I am flabbergasted because I felt invincible so far, or just very lucky, so I have to do the fucking exercise penalty at like 9 PM. But I do it and this knocks some sense into me. We farm more skins on Hexcess, kill more Kodos on Manotaur, and craft more bags. With Concussive Shot learned, it gives us just enough leverage to actually kill not only the bull Kodos, but the matriarchs as well. I found that luring them onto the bridge is the best method. Though it probably scares the hell out of new players crossing the bridge. I take a photo with her like I'm on a safari hunt. In the end, we got enough Kodo leather for 13 Kodo bags, which means we hunted down about 100 Kodos. Now the bottleneck is ironically the light leather. One of the final Kodo matriarchs even dropped an 8-slot bag just to taunt us. Since we hit level 10, the next Manotaur episode we can get a hunter pet too. The goal of this episode is to reach level 5 so we can learn alchemy and tailoring. Alchemy will provide the entire group with potions and buffs, whilst tailoring will provide Hexcess with some armor finally. Rogues are one of the best cloth gatherers, at least in the early game, because of a certain ability they have.
Backstory time. Ickpocket, the Kleptomaniac Seamstress.
She was a student learning the ins and outs of tailoring and the mysteries of alchemy, respectable professions in Night Elven society. However, she had a feeling in the back of her mind, gnawing at her thoughts, a need unfulfilled. First, it was stalking, being where she wasn't supposed to be, rummaging through empty houses, stealing a couple of mementos, but it wasn't enough. She started missing more and more of her classes, began experimenting with increasingly dangerous hobbies. Even murder is a perfectly reasonable pastime in a time of war. And eventually she dropped out of school entirely. If only she could find what is missing from her life, then everything would return back to normal. And then she found it. Clubbing someone to death is nothing compared to relieving them of their valuables without them noticing. Being completely invisible, yet also in perfect harmony with your victim. Every wrong move, a little death. You can always just club them to death afterwards. This need, is it her or is it something else? We begin once again naked and afraid, and we start punching panthers and suspiciously yellow pigs to death. After Mulgore, I am expecting this to be easy, and it is, but sometimes quite randomly, we lose a ton of health when fighting the pigs specifically. Whilst we are punching pigs, let's discuss our first two goals. One is to reach level 4 when we can equip the first blacksmithing weapons, but we'll need to travel across continents to learn swords, maces, and axes first. Axes, you might ask. Rogues can't use axes. Well, on this server they can. I am actually very excited to use some heavy hitter blacksmithing axes for some fat sinister strike hits later. The second goal is to reach level 6 because that's when the first blacksmithing dagger becomes available, and many of our rogue abilities rely on daggers. We have a special Night Elf racial on this server as well. Touch of Elune. It gives us 2% attack speed at night and 1% crit during the day. Don't get me wrong, it's a cool idea, but it's pretty non-consequential. I really wish it was something crazy, like plus 10% damage at night and minus 10% damage during the day. So, you know, we could selectively play this character versus the other 4 we have, but I guess it would be too broken. We find a new Owlkin camp with literally like 30 bones scattered all around it. We'll have a quest here at level 5, so I'm a bit afraid. Because I'm very neurotic, I decide to pull one of the Owlkin to see what happens. It misses me once. I dodge the second attack and dodge the third attack as well. Then it decides to play dirty and moonfires me, the fucker. Any of those melee hits would have hit me. We probably would have died. And, as per the challenge rules, I would have had to do exercise. Night Elves also have a plus 1% dodge chance, so I'm sure that's what saved us. This is kind of off topic, but I used to play this Monster Hunter game called Dauntless, where the scariest enemy was this huge flying owl bear. Whenever it flew into the screen for the first time, you could hear this eerie music. It's playing right now. Anyways, the boars and cats drop decent trash loot, and we sell everything for $1.50 silver.
A friend of mine named Ivorin usually visits me at the same time every day. The strange thing is that he hasn't been by today at all. He's several hours late, in fact.
Meanwhile, a night elf lady asks us to find her simp boyfriend who probably got eaten by spiders. Oh, I'm sorry, I meant a good friend. After killing about 14 pigs and cats, the quest giver trolls us by having to kill 14 more. Except this time they are recolored with slightly different names. Classic World of Warcraft, am I right? We are also tasked to slay level 3 and 4 demons, which either take only 10% of my HP or 70% of it. Again, quite random. We make it to level 3. Only one more level until we are able to use weapons finally. We find the simp boyfriend crying in the corner next to the spider cave. It doesn't really help his case that the follow-up quest is also called a friend in need. We begin collecting plants for an antidote for him. We try our might against a level 4 spider, but just before I die, it lets me live. I try a level 3 spider instead with more luck, I guess, just in case we get lucky and get the final antidote ingredient, but unfortunately we don't. At this point, basically, we want every single XP point we can scrape by before we head out into the continent to learn those weapon skills. Now, I know, it would probably be faster to just stay here and punch animals to death until level 6 when we can equip the dagger, but eventually we'll need those weapon skills anyways, and the episode is just, I guess, more fun this way. We make it to level 4 and hand in the second cat and boar quest.
You have proven your dedication to nature well, adventurers. A young adventurer like yourself has a promising future.
Learning the level 4 abilities is useless, but maybe stealth can save our ass on the long journey ahead. It's time. We push through Dolanar to Darnassus, hitting the shore just as the boat to Darkshore arrives. While we sail, let's talk about the logic behind this quintet of characters in the craft contract. Initially, I considered going full custom combos like our Undead Paladin, Dwarf Shaman and Troll Warlock, but that would have meant playing Tauren Priest and scrapping Night Elves entirely as they didn't get any new classes. And believe it or not, I didn't want to scrap Night Elves because I'm one of those crazy people who actually like Teldrassil. I spent literal days in draw.io mapping this out. Since every character must have a unique race, class and profession, it becomes this massive, fun, logistical puzzle. Every choice has a ripple effect. For instance, the stat trap. You want a gnome warlock for that juicy 5% intellect bonus and engineering crafting bonus, not to mention those awesome spell power goggles. But if you hate gnomes, you might create an orc warlock with command, which suddenly kicks your warrior to a different race. The synergy loop. You want a torrent for the herbalism bonus, but pairing them with alchemy means those juicy plus 40% healing potions on the server are going to a character who might not need them as much as someone like a rogue would. The gear gap. I included a hunter to cover ranged weapon crafting, but since we can't craft bows, I went torrent to capitalize on the plus 1% gun crit and the health bonus our pet will also get. The material burn. You can't run a mage, priest and warlock simultaneously. The cloth farming for 3 sets of gear plus first aid training would be a death sentence. Finally, the flavor factor. Sometimes you just want an undead hunter for the extra cosmetic challenge of taming, I don't know, diseased pets only. Or maybe you simply find a character name too good to pass up. Anyways, it's a fun little puzzle. One swap of a race or profession and the entire house of cards falls down. So I highly recommend you trying this. Anyways, we made it to the wetlands and here comes the second most dangerous part of the journey, Krokolisks.
She's a beautiful girl, alright.
As long as we pay attention to the road where all these skeletons are piling up, we'll be fine. Basically, just have common sense. One Krokolisk aggroes me, but since we were nearly at max range, we can just outrun its leash. Now these other skeletons probably indicate a hidden swamp elemental in the water, but then there's a really badly positioned croc that we just can't avoid unless we want to die in the water. Luckily, we learned stealth, and Night Elf's racial Shadow Melt actually increases our effective stealth level, so we can just sneak right past it. We get spooked by a Dragonmaw raider, but the rest of the journey, at least in the lower wetlands, is uneventful. Then we hit Dun Algaz. There is a Dragonmaw grunt literally in the middle of the road, no way to pass him, even in stealth. Right then and there, we get ridiculously lucky. An undead hunter passes us and takes out the grunt. I am still baffled by this as I'm editing this video, to be honest. Now, he doesn't actually take him out, he only sends his pet, so we need to run right now before he leashes back. Then, because there are probably more orcs on the way, I need to follow the undead hunter as close as possible because he might be our only way forward. But because he has aspect of the cheetah up, I just can't keep up. And then, this is what happens. The scout shoots me for 40% of my health. I hide behind a pillar, but you know it's no use. So my only chance is to run for it. He shoots me another time, down to literally 5% HP. You know, ranged enemies can just shoot through terrain in this game, so we are done. And quite literally at the very edge, he runs back. I was probably 1 centimeter outside his range. But we are still fucked. How are we gonna get past him even with stealth? We basically have to wait for him to walk behind the tree. Then we sneak right past him. I notice another guy on top of the hill. But we made it. We find this cool gnomish workshop at the top of the hill. overlooking the entire wetlands. Loch Modan is pretty uneventful. We just take care to dodge the animals. We log on to Hexcess and farm some more leather so we can send it to Manotaur to craft the leather armor set for Ickpocket as well, almost dying to this Scorpid in the end. For some reason I am unable to send any mail and I just chalk it up to server lag as a massive group of Alliance players are attacking Orgrimmar right now. Since I cannot send mail, I pretty much cannot play video game, so I log off for the night. The next day I still cannot send any mail, which points to an add-on fucking with us. I spent like an hour trying to get a good bag add-on that combines bags together and shows our items on all of our characters. How hard could it be? In the end, I finally found a good one called Gouda bags, and guys, it made me so happy. It felt like unlocking a brand new profession. We craft some basic leather gear on Manotaur and also send over 4 Kodo hide bags we fought so hard over in the last episode. We also send over a stack of each basic herb, as Manotaur will be the supplier of Ickpocket's alchemy in the future. The free silver postage just feels bad, man. Remember when we sent Corpsman's trusty axe to Manotaur? This episode will send his trusty sword to Ickpocket, as well as the level 6 dagger, some alchemy recipes I bought on the auction house, and cloth for her tailoring. I did some off-camera leveling and blacksmithing on Corpsman, but I'll just tell you all about it next time we play with him. Since we are so far from home with the Ickpocket, we might as well learn, all 3 weapon skills, axes, maces and swords from Ironforge and Stormwind. But this means pulling together 30 silver from all of our characters. This turns out to be 29 silver and 60 copper, so 40 copper off from the mark. I loot all my gear from my mailbox, but since we cannot wear the level 6 pants yet, we just look like an exotic dancer. Imagine being too inexperienced to wear pants, seriously. I spent 20 silver of my hard-earned money on axes and maces and head to the Deep Run tram towards Stormwind so I can learn swords too. I wait a couple of minutes inside, wondering why the tram isn't working. Then a suspicious-looking gnome calls me towards him and urges me to talk to his gnome friend. I only recently became a woman in this game, so I'm hesitant, but it turns out the tram isn't working and we just need to talk to this teleport NPC to go to Stormwind. The nice gnomish guy even tries to give me 69 silver, but since gifts are against the challenge rules, I decline. That 69 silver would have been triple of our current money, by the way. Well, at least now you guys can see how honest I am and how seriously I take these challenge rules. After the video ended, I gave him 4,000 Hungarian forints for the good rep. Now, one stupid thing I did once again is I gifted this guy the 3 remaining light armor kits worth 45 copper. Just remember this for a second. We make it to the Stormwind Weapon Master, the least racist character Blizzard ever created, named Wu Ping, but because I am 40 copper short to be able to train swords, I am forced to sell my pants.
Have you come?
This is pretty bad because if we log out or the server crashes, we can no longer buy it back. But the more likely scenario is that I simply forget. I have such an ADHD-like brain, I need to set actual alarms for stuff that happen in 5 minutes, so this is not looking good, guys. Anyways, we learned swords and Hearthstone back all the way to Teldrassil. Here's a pro tip for you guys. If you need money here at this level, don't farm the level 3 Grails who only drop like 3 copper each. Farm the level 1 pigs for trash. Man, being able to use a weapon finally feels so broken compared to just punching. And we hit level 5. After decimating the local wildlife, I go and sell to a nearby vendor, and guys, the craziest fucking thing happens. This night elf vendor has my pants, but I just sold it on the other side of the entire world. Wow, that's... okay, just stop it. Stop the fucking bullshit YouTube title. You know, whatever. We go back to the cave, and the spiders that used to give us so much headache are now just simply falling over under the might of our sword. Wait a minute, what does this sword look like to you? We finish the quest, return for the antidote, and see like 40 bones under this tree drop. We save the simp guy and finish up the 10 spider quest in no time, but the Spider-Man wants us to return and collect a giant spider egg from the cave.
But if you can find an unhatched egg, then delivering specimens will be much easier.
We are not yet ready for that, so we go back to finish the Moonkin quest. We finally hit level 6, and the dagger is so much better than the sword, especially with a sharpening stone. I calculated that our DPS increased by almost exactly 33%. Before we kill these moon bears, we pickpocket them first. Sometimes a pickpocket yields 30 to 50 copper each, which is like an entire 5 stack of level 1 animal loot. Crazy. The Night Elf staff ratio is doing some heavy lifting already, and we make like 4 silver for just killing and pickpocketing these 10 moonkin, which is much easier than killing 6 scorpions on Hexcess, that's for sure. Pickpocket is also the reason rogues are great at farming cloth. You already need to kill humanoids to farm cloth, and only humanoids have pockets to pick. This way you can double dip by pickpocketing them first, which is, by the way, an entirely separate loot table for some unknown reason. Then you kill them for their cloth. Double dip. These level 3 moonkins don't drop linen cloth yet, but you get my point. Now we are ready for the spider cave. One of my first childhood memories at the ripe age of 13 was the World of Warcraft demo, and one of my first characters was a Night Elf hunter. I remember having my mind blown already playing just the demo badly. Then my non-gamer friend told me that I can pull spells out of my spell book onto the bars and also actually equip the gear from my bags, which had a visual change on my actual character. What? I always consider these level 4, start zone caves the first dungeons of the game, as weird as this sounds. We have no problem here though, because of our stealth. We find a chest that has a pizza plate inside and run towards Shelob. Wait a minute, now I remember where I've seen this sword before. This is Sting. You've seen it before, haven't you? Weirdly enough, the magical chest respawns, but the second time around it only has 2 waters inside. We go back to hand in the spider quest, but we are not yet done with Shadowglen. A guy on top of the tree asks us to collect Gamer Girl bathwater, and I'm not about to be the 41st bone at the bottom of the tree.
Hijal, Nordrassel lies a pale shadow.
My kleptomania gets the better of us, and we pickpocket this guy's shirt. Before we leave Shadowglen, we also pickpocket the moonkins for a final time. 2 silver from 7 moonkin. But wait a minute, they don't even have any fucking pockets. Before we leave for good to go to Dolanar, we learn some broken level 6 abilities from the rogue trainer, but he tries to red pill me about rogue culture.
Until then, know that our kind are needed more than ever in this tenuous time. Peace with the other races can fail at any moment, and there is much talk about members of the Horde looking to sow even greater seeds of distrust. Remember that.
On the way to Dolanar, my addiction gets the better of us once again, and let's just say I get a little sidetracked pickpocketing every single bearman in Starbreeze village. 9 silver for 4 minutes of work. Nice. It really makes you think that Rogue should have been the second character in the roster. We never would have had to grind for postage costs. Damn. Later, I came back to finish some of the bear quests, pickpocketed like 20 silver, saved a druid from death, and hit level 7. All in a day's work. Now, before we end the episode, remember our main mission is to learn professions to help the rest of the team. How does the rest of the craft contract group relate to Pickpocket? She doesn't give a shit about them. She is too self-absorbed, so we'll just skip this section. But something deep in her dark heart tells her she should maybe repay the leather armor and the weapons she got from the others with some kindness. So we set out towards Darnessus to learn alchemy and tailoring. We hop onto the wagon and make it to the Night Elf capital in no time. Both professions will require us to play adventure games to unlock them. I only just realized that both of the video game challenges this episode have very similar looking protagonists, which is kind of funny. Now, it took me a long while to make up an alchemy and tailoring video game challenge, so we're just gonna improvise a little bit, okay? The alchemy challenges are going to be in the video game Bastion, a beautiful story and combat-oriented adventure game. There are potions in this game giving you various buffs, and you unlock more of them the higher level you are. To unlock apprentice level alchemy, we need to sample 2 different spirits, which pretty much means completing the prologue and finding the Bastion. A mysterious narrator narrates our every move.
He gets up, sets off for the Bastion, where everyone agreed to go in case of trouble.
I am one of the biggest fans of this game. I 100% completed it like 13 years ago, Jesus. I just fell in love with the story, which, don't worry, I'm not gonna spoil in this video, and the combat is really good too. You left and right click to use your 2 weapons, though it's advisable to have 1 melee and 1 ranged weapon, of course. What I really like in video games though is these small, skill-based weapon interactions. For instance, in this game you need to block just at the right time to counterattack for massive damage, and also let go of the bow's draw in the right moment to fire a really powerful piercing shot.
Wasn't long before windbags start turning up the last call. Wasn't long before the kid could loose an arrow, strong and true. He knows he should draw the string all the way past this man in the land. Good news is the emergency defenses still work. Bad news is they're aiming for the kid. Picks up a few pointers from a dusty old tome. He's a mighty fast learner.
Inside the distillery we can drink our first spirit. We get extra crit as long as we don't get hit.
Some of those squirts birthing like crazy in a couple of corn bins.
We hop on a barge and set out towards our first boss fight.
The bastion's real close now. Kid takes a chunk of alloy. The smell of barley and spoiled blueberries fills the air. Scumbags. Kid maybe shouldn't have done what he just did. Robs a scumbag of his last name. Puts him out of his misery.
We make a final run for the bastion.
Might as well. Kid has a feeling the place is starting to fall.
Then, we fall to our death.
Down he goes. Down. Toward the bastion. Now the kid sees something stranger still. His mind races. Did anybody else survive? Sure enough, he finds another. He finds me. Just like that, the bastion comes alive.
We build a distillery in our bastion and drink our second spirit, which unlocks Apprentice Alchemy.
There can be only one conclusion.
Back in WoW, we craft a bunch of healing potions and send them to our colleagues. With the help of Manotaur, we ran around the beautiful, sunny Mulgore Mountains in search of Earth Root. So now we are able to craft not only strength potions, but defense and health overtime potions as well for everybody. On a side note, midnight exercises are becoming a tradition. I died on Manotaur fighting an elite centaur named Jason, and 2 days prior I died on off-camera death on Hexcess fighting Baron's creatures because I was tired of the shit light leather drop rate. Anyways, both of them died almost exactly on the same minute, just before midnight. Spooky. The tailoring challenges are going to be in Moonlighter. It's a roguelite where you dungeon crawl during the night and sell the spoils throughout the day. We will need to craft cloth gear in the future to unlock higher levels of tailoring, but for now we just need to find fiber to unlock apprentice tailoring. We are going to play this game the worst possible way on a Nintendo Switch 1. Now, I didn't realize we could actually find fiber in the first 10 seconds of the game, so we're also going to play until we finish the prologue here as well and open the Moonlighter shop. We die a scripted death and our grandfather's husband teaches us the basics of the shop. You basically put out items at a random price, watch how people react to it, and adjust the price until you reach the best selling price possible. You know what, let's do another day so you get the hang of this. At night, we visit the dungeon. I know I'm gonna anger a lot of people by saying this, but I don't really like this video game. The idea of combat and shopkeeping is very cool, don't get me wrong, but the execution is horrible. The combat is like an even more unfair version of The Binding of Isaac. You can only attack in 4 directions, and shield blocking is so non-responsive, but maybe it's just a skill issue on my part. In a better game, you could maybe parry the golem's relentless attacks instead of having to go in for one unsatisfying attack at a time. Meanwhile, you can cheese the entire first boss fight by huddling in a corner with your shield up, but more on this later. The shopkeeping part is also not my cup of tea. Most players just look up the prices on a wiki anyways, so this game punishes the honest players only. Oh well, at least the game is beautiful and the idea is fun. Moonlighter 2 released recently and maybe it's much better. It definitely looks fucking sick in 3D. I have to try that at some point. At the end of day 1 we managed to make a bit of money, so the next episode or the next time we want to unlock journeyman tailoring, we can buy a forge and start crafting our cloth armor set. We unlocked apprentice level tailoring.
It inspires me to create a new design.
We turn a bunch of linen cloth we got from Corpsman into bolts and check which recipe is worth crafting. We check the craft with the cheapest ingredients but the most expensive sell price, which is brown linen vest for 31 copper each. Nice. We also craft a cloak for ourselves, but it's entirely covered by our hair. But the cloak is not important. What's important is what's in it. The Wrath of the Lich King style profession bonus here is 5 attack power in our cloak. Double nice. Finally, for Hexcess, we craft a well-deserved early cloth set. By the way, this is how the entire group looks like. We are no longer naked! We have concluded what we could essentially call Season 1 of the craft contract. All 5 of our characters are above level 5 with their professions unlocked. I am going to compile these 5 episodes into a Season 1 compilation with improvements to the visuals and audio. You might be watching this version right now. If the Season 1 compilation version receives more love from the YouTube algorithm, or I feel motivated enough, I will continue recording and editing for Season 2. What can you expect in Season 2? Well, we unlocked 8 out of 9 primary professions at an apprentice level, but enchanting for Hexcess remains. Before we venture to the next zones, we should also reach level 12 on all 5 members to maximize our chances for survival. We should also unlock fishing, cooking and first aid, and since jewel crafting doesn't exist here, I planned some special challenges to unlock the right to wear all jewels we can find in the world. Oh, and by the way, don't worry about this mystery profession, it was survival on Turtle WoW. Join me again to see the progress of the craft contract. Like, subscribe, comment.